Let's talk about the most expensive spice in the world, saffron. Saffron is this incredibly expensive spice that can sometimes be sold for like $9,000 per pound. Its uses are pretty much entirely culinary, being used as a spice in different types of foods or as a coloring agent. Saffron has been used for thousands of years, dating back to multiple ancient civilizations, including ancient Iran as well as Mesopotamia and Greece, and in modern times has been cultivated and spread pretty much around the world and is grown in many different areas. Now, the actual saffron spice itself comes from the saffron crocus. These three little red things coming out of the center of the flower are the stigmas, which are the actual saffron spice itself. Now, the saffron crocus itself is quite common, however, the spice is so expensive due to the kind of production. The crocuses have to mature and bloom, and then the stigmas have to be manually hand harvested, so just going around and pulling each individual stigma out of each individual flower and collecting it to sell. It is incredibly hard manual labor, and it's very time consuming, which is part of the reason why it's so expensive. Interestingly enough also, all domestic cultivation of saffron flowers are sterile. They are what is known as triploids, meaning they have 3 copies of every chromosome instead of the regular 2 copies. This makes all of the domestic cultivation sterile and unable to sexually reproduce on their own. So in order to make any new saffron plants, they have to be manually cultivated via cloning. Now, cloning in plants is actually rather easy, however, that does mean that there is very low genetic diversity in pretty much every cultivated saffron plant, because all domestic saffron is essentially clones of each other. Now, this can get worked around a little bit. There are wild cultivations of very similar crocus relatives that don't produce the regular saffron, but can be kind of crossbred with domestic saffron to increase genetic diversity. However, it's not really considered to be true saffron as far as I'm aware. But either way, the majority of the saffron that is currently produced is done via cloning of the other plants. While this is effective at producing new plants, it does mean that the entire saffron population is quite a bit more vulnerable to diseases. Now, like I stated before, while saffron is very expensive and quite rare, saffron plants are not actually, and you can buy saffron crocus bulbs kind of in bulk or just buy a couple and grow your own saffron if you're in a suitable climate. If you were to harvest your own saffron, it still would be rather time consuming. However, if you have the time and you want to, you are fully capable of growing and harvesting your own saffron, and it really is apparently not that difficult of a plant to grow. So you can order saffron bulbs online. It's a thing that you can do, it's just a little bit more work.